And we are live. We are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are live back on the 23rd hour. My name is Maurice Prophets. It is 12, damn near 12:30 after 30 minutes after midnight here in Chicago, Central Standard Time. And yeah, man, we are just still kind of processing what we watched when it came to the Royal Rumble. And let me do a proper intro. Let me give you guys something a little bit more better than much more better than more dignified than that. My name is Maurice Prophet. Welcome to the 23rd hour. This show, what it is, this is our post pay-per-view pro wrestling show where we go over the pay-per-view that just ended. Before we did a couple of AEW pay-per-views, we did a TNA pay-per-view, we did some WWE, and of course tonight was the 2024 WWE Royal Rumble. And we're going to kind of just do like a little kind of like a brief overview in terms of like what the pay-per-view was and our thoughts, our takeaways from it, what we observed, the highs and the lows of tonight's show as well too, and just kind of giving our take on it as well too. Feel free to jump into the chat. When it comes to any of your takes and when it comes to any of your opinions, I'll be more than happy to chop it up with you all. But yeah, we're talking all things wrestling tonight, and this week overall has been a very, very, very polarizing week, just in general when it comes to just pro wrestling in general. Especially surrounding the WWE. This has been just like one hell of a week where every day, literally starting from Monday to today, right now, it has been just like, here's a rock. Here's a bigger rock. Here's a boulder. Here's a planet for you. If every day it was something that we were being handed in terms of like, oh my God, this is like so much to deal with, all in one sitting. There was some really great announcements that took place this week in terms of like one of the biggest announcements that took place this week was about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being appointed to the TKO board. As many of you all know, TKO is the company that owns both the WWE and the UFC. They are owned by Endeavor. Endeavor is the biggest talent agency that's in Hollywood, that's ran by Ari Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel was that asshole mayor that we had here in Chicago, and his brother is Ari Emanuel, who runs Endeavor. So for me personally, in my world, my worst nightmare came to fruition once the asshole mayor, who I still hate to this day, his brother is now running the biggest wrestling organization, the biggest wrestling promotion on the planet. And it's like, wow, can life get any more bizarre? You know what I mean? But that's a whole other conversation. But the company that owns both them both, WWE and UFC, TKO, The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was appointed to the board of directors, and in addition to his appointment, he also was part of the deal was that he would have full ownership of his name, The Rock. So he will be using The Rock moving forward in a lot of business endeavors, social endeavors as well too, merchandising, branding, all that good stuff and everything. So congrats to The Rock on being able to land both of those milestones. And while we're at a high in terms of like watching one of our all-time favorites being able to get in that position, then we get hit with one of the biggest lows I think that's ever happened in pro wrestling when it comes to this. Everything's happening with Vince McMahon right now. First off, I just want to say Vince McMahon can go to hell. He can definitely go to hell. I hope that after reading all 67 pages of that lawsuit that was filed, and everything that went into detail about what took place between him, the young lady, I'm so sorry, her name escapes me right now at this moment in time, and I want to be able to dignify her with the most respect as possible. But between her, John Laurinaitis, who's also a piece of scum, and even Brock Lesnar as well, who of which y'all know I'm unapologetically a fan of his, which is very questionable right now. Um, Based on that, I think Vince belongs in jail, and same with John Laurinaitis. Um, and a lot of people in WWE need to be held liable for what took place, because a lot of people in WWE were very aware of what took place between McMahon and her and what he was doing to her. Essentially, in a nutshell, I'm not going to go into detail because it's really it's horrific reading what all took place. And I mean, you want to talk about dehumanizing someone? I mean, he basically made her like a sex slave, and this was human trafficking, at its highest point. And so now I'm kind of like in this weird position right now where I'm just like, I don't know where I stand really with WWE, especially after with tonight too, with the Royal Rumble. And I'm gonna talk about that in a minute, because I'm seeing too many red flags that's really concerning. And in a way, I'm almost kind of like in a way where I'm just like, maybe I need to step away from supporting them for a while, because if they are not recognizing their hand in terms of like where they're at fault at with allowing things like this to happen, then it's like, if you can't recognize that but everyone else can, then, and you can't even acknowledge that you are that you are a problem, then perhaps then my support, you don't need my support. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, tonight was the 2024 Royal Rumble. I think they said tonight was like the 36th year. I think they said the 36th annual edition of the Royal. I think it was something like that. I could be wrong, but I think it was somewhere in the mid to high 30s of where the Rumble was, the annual. Anyway, so tonight's Rumble, it was only 4 matches, no pre-show matches or anything, nothing beforehand. And what was kind of cool was that during the pre-show, there were some elements on there that you could tell that things are a little bit more of a different take. Like they even kind of like had Peter Rosenberg, do some very candid interviews in the back, which I kind of appreciated that, because like sometimes you don't want to hear the hokey, I'm gonna get you tonight, brother. And, you don't want to hear all that shit. You want to hear like some actual people talk like human beings. And so we got that tonight, when he interviewed CM Punk. I mean, he saw R-Truth back in the back, but R-Truth is gonna he's gonna do his R-Truth thing. But CM Punk actually kind of like gave, actually was spoken like a human being, which was kind of cool. And then he came out through the audience. I mean, I'm sorry, to the entryway into the arena. It felt like, and I even wrote this in the mid-card mess, it felt like in the 94 Royal Rumble when Todd Pettingill did the exact same thing. So it was kind of cool seeing that, like a new version of that. So we start the pay-per-view off. We kick it off with the Women's Royal Rumble match, which, by the way, was literally the match of the night. The Women's Royal Rumble match was a match of the night. It was better than the Men's Royal Rumble. We got Natalya. Crap, I can't remember who was also in the ring with Natalya, who was number 2. But the first shocker of the night, we heard Naomi. Naomi came out, and it was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, so Naomi came out. So yeah, everybody was feeling the glow. So Naomi came out. Everyone was feeling the glow. It was really dope. It was really dope seeing her, come out. It was, yeah. Naomi was number. I'm sorry, John. I thought Naomi was number 3 for some reason. I thought she was number 3 for some reason. So I thought it was Natalya and someone else, and then Naomi came out. So Yeah, no, I knew she was out, but I thought she was number 3. But anyway, you're right though. But so dope seeing her because we just got done seeing Naomi on Impact, on TNA Impact this past Thursday, where she had a rematch against Jordan Grace for the Knockouts Women's title. Jordan Grace won. And okay, Bayley was number 3. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you, sir. And we saw Naomi. She dropped the belt to Jordan Grace 2 weeks ago at Hard to Kill in Vegas, which, by the way, like that was a very one-sided match. Like it kind of shocked me because like Trinity just looked like she wasn't like, not that she was like ill prepared or whatever like that, but it was a very obvious difference of where Jordan Grace was and where Trinity was in that match. And because Jordan Grace was just like throwing her around, and she was doing moves that were like 2-3 move kind of like set combos on her, and I'm sitting there like, yo, like, is she okay? You know what I'm saying, for real? And so yeah, so Naomi came out tonight, it was a big surprise. It made a lot of sense in the world because number one, there's been a lot of talks between WWE and TNA. That's been going on like for some months now. So it looks like there's gonna be some like, you know, they're gonna resurrect some conversations about possibly having some like, you know, some crossover situations taking place. Number two, they were in Tampa, and I believe Naomi does live in Tampa. You know, like as far as her true home with Jimmy Uso. And so yeah, so if this is part of it, then it only made a lot of sense and have her be part of the Women's Rumble. You know what I mean? So it was really dope. She got a big pop. Really, everyone was really happy to see her. I'm not sure if this is gonna be long term because I believe that her contract with TNA is not up until the summertime. I mean, unless WWE bought the rest of the contract out. But her TNA contract is not open till the summer, so not sure if where they are when it comes to that. But I mean, that remains to be seen in terms of her stats. But it was really great seeing Naomi, and Naomi was, I think, she was like the Iron Woman in tonight's Rumble as well too. For I think she lasted like damn near the longest because she got pretty deep into it. As John mentioned a minute ago, Bayley was number 3. And as you all know, Bayley was the winner of tonight's Women's Royal Rumble match. So we'll talk about that in a second. And then I believe number 4 or 5 or whomever it was, shocker of like my life, Jordan Grace came out. Y'all know, a lot of y'all know that how much I love Jordan Grace. I'm a huge Jordan Grace fan. Shout out to Jordan Grace. You know, she was and look, she always will be in my heart. All right. She was an ambassador for B-Side Studios for a couple of times where she promoted our brand. She promoted our reality show, Wine Dine Go Live. Jordan Grace will always have nothing but love in my heart for her. Always. So I lost my mind seeing her come out because that's one of the things I've always said was like I would love to see Jordan Grace in the WWE ring and against WWE wrestlers, and there are so many dream matches. And so tonight when she came out, blew my head off. And when she was in the ring, my thing was like I literally just want to watch Jordan Grace wrestle the entire night. Like I only want to watch her. I don't care about anyone else in the ring. I just want to see Jordan Grace and whomever she's matched up with because that's some shit that I've never seen before. So you know you have a situation where you have Jordan Grace trading blows with Bianca Belair. Jordan Grace trading some blows with Becky Lynch. Jordan Grace trading some blows, you know what I mean, with Shayna Baszler or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there are so many possibilities of being able to like have those little dream encounters take place, and it was happening right in front of our eyes. So having be able to see that happen and take place in front of us was absolutely incredible. Yeah. So we got that, and and of course, like, you know, we have like the regular roster people, like we got Nia Jax, we had Tiffany Stratton from NXT, we had Piper Niven, we had Chelsea Green, we had Shotzi Blackheart, We had Xia Li. We had who we regularly see. We have, of course, we have Damage Control come out as well too. We have Asuka, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, we have of who we see on the roster on the regular, and then we get Jade Cargill, and that was a moment. That was like that I think probably was like the biggest moment of the night. Because going back to Jordan Grace, when Jordan came out, at first when her music played, I heard the sirens. So I'm like, who's this fake ass Jordan Grace coming out? Because I heard the sirens coming out. I heard her music playing, and I see her. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? So I had that reaction. But not everyone in Tampa had that reaction as well too, because it was noticeably quiet when she came out. And I get it, because this is a WWE audience, and they it's a good chance they don't watch TNA. So a lot of people, I think, were just kind of like, okay, who is that? We don't know who that is, and so we don't know how to react, which is perfectly acceptable. You know what I mean? So what Kevin Hart said, you're gonna learn today. So yeah, but speaking of reactions, Jade Cargill, the long-awaited in-ring debut of Jade Cargill took place, and she did not disappoint at all. I believe she got Nia Jax out, which about like 8 women were trying to get her out earlier, and they couldn't do it, but Jade Cargill was able to get her out. And then we got the encounter with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, which I'm sure a lot of people really want to see go down at WrestleMania. And so Jade was able to get in there. She had a really great response. She looked like $1 million, probably $2 million, probably $3 million, probably $5 million bucks in there. Just looked incredible, and she looked really good. And granted, like the Royal Rumble, like you can kind of coast by a little bit, you know what I mean? Because you're not the single attention the entire time. Like you're the single attention like when you come out and when you have your first, like 90 seconds or whatever may have you, or even like when a big spot is happening, all the attention is on you. But you have your opportunities where you're able to rest a little bit, or kind of sneak away into the cut. And so this was it was good having Jade come out tonight. And I know people have been like really chomping at the bits of seeing Jade Cargill since it was announced, I think back in November or October, that she signed with the WWE. So it was really good that she came out tonight, because number one, it gave her a chance to be able to train and be able to kind of get into and get herself acclimated with the WWE's style. And number two, like I said, the Royal Rumble, you're able to hide a lot as well too when it comes to the attention. So you can have like a couple of minutes here and there where the attention is on you, but the majority of the time that you're actually in the ring, not a lot of the attention is on you. So she was able to really benefit from that tonight, because every time the attention was really on her, she really maximized it, and she looked fantastic. So it was great seeing her tonight. It was, and as a big fan of hers, like when she was in AEW, when she was a TBS champion, I love Jade Cargill a lot. I know she was limited. I know a lot of people said, oh, she's a wrestler, but one thing I always said about Jade Cargill was that, okay, that may be true, but the thing is though that she is a marketing machine. Like you can have her at the red carpets at the BET Awards, you can have her at the red carpets at the Kids' Choice Awards, you can have her in commercials, you can have her on TV shows or whatever may have you. Like she really is like someone that you want to have on your roster if used right. And so obviously WWE, they have a great formula when it comes to how to be able to utilize people in this manner. Jade's going to benefit greatly in that. I wish Tony Khan was able to, utilize her in that capacity the right way. He just probably may not have the contacts yet or the relationships yet in terms of being able to make that happen. But AEW's only been around for 5 years, and they're still a baby company, and they're still learning, they're still growing, and and for being a 5-year-old company where they are right now, they're doing great work. So I'm glad that being a fan of Jade, I'm glad that she was able to get the experience that she gained from AEW in terms of the experience and the exposure of getting her name out there. And now, yeah, it is time to go on to and level up to the next level, and that's exactly what she's doing. So kudos to Jade. She had a great debut tonight. Like I said, she pretty much was the one that sold the show tonight overall. But speaking of like just being a show stealer, that would be Bayley, who came in at number 3. and Bayley went the entire distance, and she won the Women's Royal Rumble match. And yeah, it was a little predictable about Bayley winning. The word on the street everywhere from for weeks now has been Bayley's. Everyone has picked Bayley to be the winner. The Rumble. I saw some people picking Jade as well too, but for the most part, people were picking Bayley, and I think it's because of like her storyline that's going on with Damage Control right now because there's dissension within the ranks. So it only makes sense to have Bayley win the Royal Rumble and then challenge the women's champion, which is her Damage Control teammate, Io Sky. So, or Sablemate, Io Sky. And so looks like it's gonna be sorry about that. The big match at WrestleMania 40. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much what we're gonna have. Happy to catch you. What's up, Liz? You saw it live? Yeah, it was good. It was it was what it was, right? but I'm glad you caught it though, Liz, for real. You need to have me back on the show so I can talk more wrestling. Yeah, we can talk about that. And yeah, John, you had Jade too. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, people had Jade winning. You know what I mean? So they had Jade winning the match. Either Jade or Bayley. I didn't think Jade only because I'm like, I think that might have been too big of a jump for her. You debut your first match you debut in. Now you have a championship match at WrestleMania. I thought that might have been a little bit too much for her, to kick off and be introduced to everybody, because you don't want to make people sick of her too fast. But yeah, but she looked very impressive though. I was very happy for her because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like on the 23rd hour, it's after hours, it's late night, so we keep it real real here. A lot of times, let's be honest, Black women have a very difficult time when it comes to appealing to a lot of the wrestling audience. A lot of talented Black wrestlers and Black female wrestlers especially just get criticized heavier. So that's why I'm like, I really hope that they do Jade right because we already know how a lot of the wrestling fan base can be. And I just don't want to see her I just don't want to see her become the villain all of a sudden, because that was what was the thing in AEW that everyone was like, she can't wrestle. And like, that's very true. Like she's not going to be Carl Gotch out there. You know what I mean? But she still is very TV ready and someone that you want to have on your TV and someone that you want to have wearing championship gold. And she will be wearing championship gold eventually in the WWE. So hats off to her. And so yeah, so with Bayley's gonna be going on to WrestleMania. More like she'll be picking Io Sky as the challenger for the championship title in Philadelphia. And so we will see how that goes. But overall, the women's Royal Rumble was really good. It was really good. It was exciting. There were some really cool spots. I'll tell you who I think was the unsung hero for the women's Royal Rumble. Chelsea Green. Real talk, Chelsea Green. I think she shined really well. When she first got in, I thought she was going to be eliminated very quickly again, the way how she was last year. But she stayed in for, I think she was probably in there for a good probably half hour maybe, or maybe 25 minutes, something like that. But the time that she was in there, yeah, you feel me, John? Yeah, Chelsea was great, man. She held her own. Number one, held her own. And she did the damn thing when it came to the comedy spots too as well. You know what I mean? And yeah, Piper was good too. You know what I mean? Piper played her role in terms of making sure she was protecting her and making sure that she was taking care of her and whatnot. But Piper also found herself on the end of giving her some offense when it was very inadvertent. You know what I mean? So, and Chelsea was handling it like a champ as well too. When it came to those kind of spots, so she did great. They're giving the women more spotlight. Jade is my top. Hell yeah, Liz, I'm with you on that. Exactly, absolutely. That's one thing that WWE's been doing a great job with I would say since they brought in the likes of Sasha Banks and Bayley and Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, that they've really have done that women's division so much justice compared to the days of the Bella Twins and Braun Penny panty mud wrestling matches. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they've been doing them such a great justice where we actually are like emotionally invested into the women's division as equal or even more so at times than the men's division as well too. Oh, and Pat McAfee, yeah, Pat McAfee came out to do commentary. I mess with Pat so heavy. I love watching his podcast every day. Pat's my dude, man. For real, that's one dude. That's one guy I want to hang out and have a beer with, man. I love me some Pat. McAfee had me crying through though when Chelsea was getting bashed. He said she looked. He did say that. Yeah, he did make a weekend. He said weekend at Bernie's over. Man, I cracked up, man. We call it weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, man. But Chelsea looked really good out there, man. Like she really looked good. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, even though, yeah, she wasn't out there doing Huna Karanas and doing Uranagis or whatever like that, but she did her part in terms of keeping things going, keeping things interesting, keeping her character she's staying in character, even like, you know, just her mannerisms and all that good stuff and everything, and just the situations that she found herself in. It was just really spot on. Like it was really like a big part of what made that Rumble really good. So seriously, my hats off to Chelsea Green and Piper, but Chelsea held it down though. Liz said, call me an old head, but Lido is still tops for me. Lita. My glasses are off, so that I thought that was Lita. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude. I love me some Lita. Lita was dope. No, Lita was dope, man. When she would do the moonsault, and she would do that quick moonsault too. Lita was cold as hell, man. For real, I like her. And yeah, Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, Tiffany was one of my picks for to be a Final Four. She looked great. Like she came out there and boom, she was look killer out there. And what I like about Tiffany a lot is that Tiffany really does defy the stereotype of like, you know, if you see her, you're like, okay, she's a typical blonde wrestler. She's tall, blonde. She's really pretty. She's really gorgeous. So she probably sucks. That's usually the formula. Tall, blonde, beautiful, and they suck. Unless you're Charlotte Flair. But then Tiffany Stratton comes onto the scene and like just blows your mind away, and you're like, holy shit, like this woman is great. So yeah, she looked really good out there as well too. And Nia for a little bit of time, I'm like, is Nia gonna win this hit? Is she gonna win this Rumble? Because she looks like she's ready to win the Rumble for real. So Nia looked good. That's what I'm saying. They went out there, they did the damn thing tonight for real. You know what I'm saying? I like seeing her not hear her though. You know, voice annoying behind that. I feel you on that, bro. I feel you on that. Yeah, Nia was great, man. You know what I mean? And what I really like too is that with the women's Rumble, they did not rely on like all these old heads coming back. Like they didn't have to like call up Trish Stratus. They didn't have to call up Molly Holly. They didn't have to call up Ivory. They didn't have to call up Victoria. They didn't have to call up the old heads. Because they let their roster really shine and rock out tonight. And I think that was really great for them to do that because, you know, this is how you build these people to be legitimate stars. You know what I mean? So I like that. And also because I don't watch NXT, I was able to see some of these people who I don't normally see on a regular basis really, you know, go out there and do the damn thing. So, you know, that was really good though. So yeah, so Women's Rumble was good. Next, what you say, my boy? Bailey said that in the press conference too. About the old heads coming out. I missed Bailey's press conference. I came in right when she was getting up to leave. That's when I turned it on. So she brought that up. That's good. That's cool, man. Because yeah, it was very noticeable to the fans, obviously as well too. So yeah, no, hats off to her though. The next match was for the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The Fatal 4-Way. Roman Reigns defending the championship against LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. And it was, you know, pretty much like the kind of like Fatal 4-Way you expect, but still was good to see. Okay, cool, that's good stuff. But it was the Fatal 4-Way you expect. Not really, because it was very it seemed very short. Especially considering my bad, especially considering all the talent that was in there. We're talking about Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, 15-time world champion, AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles is like a 3-time world champion in WWE, and LA Knight. To his credit, he's a former Impact heavyweight champion. So you have all these heavy hitters in the ring, and the match I think was like only like 8 minutes or something like that. It was something really short. So it was a little underwhelming. We knew Roman Reigns was gonna win, but yeah, there wasn't too many takeaways from this. Like Randy Orton hit some really cool looking RKO's on all of them. They all were able to kind of like do their finishers, when they had to. It just felt like it was a lot of finishers in the match. So, oh my bad, bro. I don't know why I keep hitting that one. So, yeah, no. So that one was what it was, and Roman Reigns retained, and it just I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know. It just seemed just kind of like let's just get this thing, get it out the way, and move on with our night. And speaking of moving on with the night, the next match was for the United States Championship. It was Logan Paul against Kevin Owens. I'm going to be honest with you. This was the time of the night where I went and put my food up and I washed my dishes because I just look. I can't. It just kind of goes in hand with my own qualms when it comes to supporting WWE. I just can't rock with Logan Paul. I can't, man. Like on some principle, I can't rock with him, man. And I'm just like, I don't want to have anything to do with any of your matches, bro. Like I really don't. You know what I'm saying? And I never even watched the match he had with Roman Reigns because I thought that was just absolutely ludicrous of him. I understand it was in Saudi Arabia, but I'm just like, okay, as a fan though, where this is the one area where we suspend belief and we kind of immerse ourselves into your world on some fan shit. It's like that didn't make sense to have him be the number one contender for a world championship. I'm like, why? Because I think up to that point he never won. So I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like aside from the hate I have for him, just on some like on what's logical, it didn't make sense. So I'm like, I'm not gonna rock with this guy because I see what y'all are doing and I'm cool on that. So I'm super good on anything with Logan Paul. I feel you on that, John. Oh, by the way, since John's here with me right now, so okay, so let me tell y'all. So John and I, we have this really odd rivalry where because so I like Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler is a female wrestler and is a women's wrestler, excuse me. And I like her because I like her style. Now, granted, I will admit her style in NXT was much better than it is in WWE because in NXT she got to be a lot more of herself in terms of like being like a true fighter. But in WWE they really have like drawn back a lot of her moveset where she doesn't really execute a lot of those moves anymore. But also she ain't the most easiest on the eyes. So because John know I rock with Shayna heavy and he don't, he likes to call her Predator, and he always likes to make sure that I'm reminded that she is Predator. But I crack up every time, man. I'm like, man, F you, bro. Talking about my girl like that. So anyway, so John, so we're all part of a wrestling group called the Mid-Card Mess, and we do a Royal Rumble contest every year. And it's a whole long thing. I don't even break it out for y'all. But just trust me on this. So John's pick for the Rumble, he had like a late pick. It was like 20 something or whatever like that. So I'm like, John, I hope to God you get Shayna Baszler, and I hope to God even more that she comes out and wins. You know what I mean? So he didn't get Shayna Baszler, but he got her protege, Zoe Starks. Which, by the way, hey, seriously, am I the only one that thinks Zoe Starks looks like Tisha Campbell? She does. I'm sorry. Every time I see Tony Starks, I think about Tisha Campbell. Um, so he got Tisha Campbell. He got Zoe Starks, and so yeah. So it was close enough. It was close enough, man. For real. She's better suited as a tag wrestler. They not letting her mug. She does, bro. It's the head. It's the head. It's the head, and she light skinned. No, yeah, she. I mean, I can see that. Like I personally rather see her be a dominant one-on-one wrestler. But she did have success. In as a tag team wrestler. I'm just like I said, I just rather much see her, one on one, just kicking ass out there. You know what I mean? That reverse Benjamin Button. I'm gonna ask the group. I'm gonna see what they say, bro. So anyway, but no, Shayna was in the Rumble. She didn't win, obviously, but shout out to Shayna. And so from what I understand from the Logan Paul match, in between washing the plates and the glasses, from what I understand that there was some interference that took place from some people from Logan Paul's camp, but it didn't work. Kevin Owens got the brass knuckles from Logan Paul, hit Logan Paul, was about to pin him, but the referee saw the brass knucks on Kevin Owens and disqualified Kevin Owens. And KO got disqualified. So that's what I remember from what the outcome of that match was. And so this means that this is going to go into Elimination Chamber for them. They're probably not going to wrestle in the chamber, but they're going to have a match at the pay-per-view. So we'll see what goes along with that. They really are like pushing that feud on. I'm glad too because Logan. That's another thing about Logan Paul. He only wrestles like once a year. It feels like, but now I feel like they're kind of like, look, you have the U.S. Championship. You need to be on TV a lot more. This WrestleMania season, so you're going to be wrestling a whole lot more. You're going to be on TV every week. You're going to be at the pay-per-views up until Mania. Because he'll be at Mania, obviously, probably wrestling LA Knight, and so he needs that time. So we'll see what goes with that. Next is the main event of the night, which was the Men's Royal Rumble. Started off with Jey Uso coming out as number one. Shout out to you, Melissa Ramirez. And then Jimmy Uso came out as number two. Shout out to Aleister Price. And so they were the first to start things off in the Rumble. I got my book somewhere. Where is it? I got my book somewhere with all the results in there, whatever. Like I can't find it. But yeah, man, the Men's Royal Rumble was kind of like, all right. You know what I'm saying? It was okay. I think, and it did make sense for them too. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? In real talk, while you playing though, while I know that like I'm a little kind of like kind of dry on the Rumble, on the Men's Rumble itself, Jimmy and Jay really did like they did their parts really well. Number one, Jay was the Iron Man tonight, so he went. They say he went 50 minutes and 50 seconds in the ring in the Royal Rumble. So kudos to Jay for being the Iron Man tonight and lasting the longest because he went, all the way down there to like the final five or final six or something like that. So hats off to him. But low key, Jimmy was hilarious. Hilarious, man. And I'm going to tell you why, because it was like the small little details and mannerisms he was doing were freaking fun. Funny. Like, there was a part where Jay was on the ground and somebody was beating on Jay. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Finn Balor or who it was, but somebody was beating on him. And the thing was, it wasn't even like they focused on this. Like it really was very subtle. It was very much like if you were watching at home and you were paying attention to what was going on over here while the TV was showing what was happening over here. It was very subtle. So if you were paying attention to what was going on, you caught it and you were like cracking up. So like Jay was getting beat down in the corner on the ground by I think Finn Balor. Jimmy pops over by them. And it's carrying cross. Okay, it was carrying cross. Okay. Bet. Real quick, what you say, John? Jimmy did his thing too. It made him. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. That's what I'm getting at. Jimmy jumped over there and was like, "Yeet," and then like his carrying cross is like either no or just give him a look. So Jimmy was like, "All right, no, I bet no yeet," and then started being on. Oh man, that's what I'm saying, man. Dude was out there clowning, and there was a few other things that Jimmy did too as well that you caught, and he was cracking up, man. But yeah, but shout out to Jimmy and Jay, man, for real. Like, they held their own really well. They both said no eat, no okay. So Carrie said too. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That was funny as hell, man. So they both held it down. They did what needed to be done. You had the heavy hitters come out. You had you had Gunther come out, and I thought Gunther was gonna win. Like for a little bit, I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna give the win to Gunther because he just had that promo the other night, against Seth Rollins, and what I'm saying, so they could be cooking something up with that, or maybe they have something else. Maybe they're gonna cook something up with him and Seth, and they have Cody and CM Punk kind of go at Mania, and you can match Roman up with The Rock or whatever. So I thought like for a minute that they were going to go in that direction with having Gunther win, but that wasn't the case. But they had Gunther in there. They had Drew McIntyre looked really good. Now we're going to talk about that. Okay, so CM Punk as well too. He came out there. I thought his pop was going to be much louder. I thought it was going to be a much louder pop than it was, but it felt like it. I got to hit my boy a lot. Shout out to Elijah Davis, who was at the show tonight. I got to hit up Elijah and see like what it was like when Punk came out, because I really thought the place was going to go crazy, but it was kind of like, yay! It was kind of like a quick yay. And just kind of like goes to show that in Chicago, to the wrestling crowd in Chicago, Punk is a god. But anywhere outside Chicago, it's very questionable. It's very, very questionable anywhere outside Chicago when it comes to CM Punk. So I'm very curious about that. What'd you say, Ro? I had him behind Cody, and he made the final three with Cody again. Yeah. Gunther and Punk, yeah. Made the final three of Punk. But so Punk came out. It wasn't as big of an ovation I thought it was going to be, and so Punk though was very noticeably blown up in that match. He was very noticeably blown up, and you could really see that he's still not there yet at where he was before when it comes to ring shape. Which is interesting because back in Wembley in August, he had like a 20-minute match with Joe. He looked great in the match. So, and I understand like that was August, and we're talking about January right now and everything. But he did debut in WWE in November. So I just don't know. Like I don't know. It takes the mechanics when it comes to like ring shape and eye ring shape, whatever. I don't know. But it was very noticeable tonight, though, when it came to just like his the conditioning, because he was out there sucking wind. And trust me, I'm not criticizing him or anything, because I do like Punk. I am a Punk fan. It's just me calling what I saw tonight. So it's like, okay, like he needs a little more time. But the thing is, he's the man's been an athlete his whole life. He'll be fine. You know what I mean? Obviously. So we got to see about that. But it looked like I thought for a minute Gunther was going to win. The final two was Punk and Rhodes. Rhodes ended up winning the Royal Rumble for the men. And he's going to WrestleMania to face the champion of his choosing, which I'm pretty sure is going to be Roman Reigns. I got one question. Why? Why Roman? And if it is Roman, I'm sorry, but it's going to take a whole lot for you to convince me that Cody Rhodes is the one to beat Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns has been champion for like the last 3.5 years. You know what I mean? And it's dominated everybody. And if you want to finish the story on Gunther, finish the story on Seth, finish the story on Logan Paul, get you a tag partner, finish the story with the goddamn Judgment Day, but not the Tribal Chief. I'm sorry, not the Tribal Chief, because the thing is, from what I have seen for the last 3.5, 4 years, however long Roman has been champion for, all I have seen is just him dominate every person put in front of him. I mean, the man has dominated. He's dominated Drew McIntyre. He's dominated Bobby Lashley. He's dominated Sheamus. He's dominated Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. I think I said John Cena already, but I'll say it again. John Cena. You know what I mean? Like, the man has dominated every person that's been put in front of him. And so he's won a fatal 4-way tonight against ex-champions. So you put little Cody Rhodes in front of Roman Reigns, and he couldn't get the job done last year. He's gonna do it this year. Why? Because it's like, I have the power in me. That, like, not him, man. He don't look. I'm sorry, but like, to me, it's like, the man who has held the world championship for 3-4 years. If you were to tell me he held it for 3 or 4 years, and I'm like, oh my God, who did he beat? Who beat him for it then? Who finally was the one to beat him? If you show me Cody Rhodes, I'm gonna laugh. I'm sorry, I am. And I like Cody. This is not Cody slander or anything like that. But it really is a factor of believability. I just don't believe it's him. I don't believe he's the one. And plus, I really feel it's gonna blow up people's faces, because so let's say it is Cody. Let's say he beats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He becomes the world champion at WrestleMania. It'll be like, the WrestleMania moment that was made for the ages. Cody Rhodes has finished the story. He's now the world heavyweight champion. It's Cody Rhodes. Okay, all right. We get that moment. We're gonna see that moment in the video archives for the rest of our lives and all that stuff. The confetti's gonna come down, and the fireworks gonna go off, and he's gonna be in the middle of the ring crying, and the whole family's gonna come in there. From wifey to Dustin Rhodes, their kids, to their mom. It's gonna be a whole big thing. He's gonna stay on the turnbuckle. He's gonna hold up the world championship and say, "This for you, Dad." You know what I mean? He's gonna do all that stuff. Great. And then guess what? 3 weeks later, people are gonna be tired of that shit. They're gonna be tired of him coming out in the suits, coming out talking about, I finished the story, talking about I did that. I defied the odds. I did it all in the name of the Rhodes family. It's everything we've already seen before. Just now you have a belt. And then we're going to realize, you know what? Life wasn't that bad when Roman Reigns was the world champion. It was kind of cool. Yeah, we might need a little bit of a break, but we still were, that was still a nice little ride that we were enjoying. It would have to be a clean match, but we're not seeing that hardly with Roman. No. It's not even about fighting dirty. It's about fighting smarter. That's all it is. So, yeah, man. So that's what we're gonna get now, I guess. But we'll see what goes on. I mean, thankfully, it's WrestleMania. WrestleMania always has like a nice variety of just like of good matches, and it's like something to look forward to. So I'm just not really with it, and I really think that they need to beat Hulk Hogan's record. And by the way, I'm so glad Hulk Hogan did not come out tonight. Thank you, Lord, we did not see that dumbass come out. So, because I really thought for a half a second, I'm like, let me fuck around and find out that they're gonna have Hulk Hogan come out tonight, and they actually have the temerity to have him win the Royal Rumble, so he can just tie up Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Austin wouldn't be the only person with 3 Royal Rumble victories. I'm like, Hogan is just that kind of an asshole, where he would actually push for that right now with his old ass knocking at the door of 80 years old. So I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. And here comes WWE on some like, okay, we're gonna say her. You're wishing my command, and they're gonna do that shit. But anyway, I'm so glad that he didn't come out, bring his old ass out in his diapers. So really glad about that. But I want Roman to beat Hogan's record though. I want him to pass Hogan's record. You know what I mean? That would be so great. But who knows what they're gonna do? Who knows? So Cody. So Cody won. Punk lost, and also I knew I had a feeling Punk was going to lose because Punk was talking a lot of shit in the ring when he was saying, "I'm not going to lose Dusty's dad," and he was talking a lot of shit, and he was doing a lot of mannerisms where he was getting points to the WrestleMania sign and whatnot. He kind of turned into the heel in a way, and when will he do that? I think that happens later this year. If he were to win at WrestleMania and he were to tie Hogan or pass Hogan, I think that happens in the summertime, I think. I kind of lost track. But I'm saying Hogan because I don't think anyone's going to be going to Bob Backlund or Bruno Sammartino's level. So I think those is going to be like, yeah, you know what? Y'all will forever have that for the rest of eternity, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't having no 21-year champion. Goddamn. Some people can't even keep a job for 21 days. Talk about 21 years. What the hell you want? So, yeah. So that's where we're pretty much gonna get. But where that leaves with Punk though, not sure. That might now it will be just him and Seth Rollins. He'll be going after Seth Rollins. He might like win something at the Elimination Chamber, which get him a chance to main event for that championship at WrestleMania. Because he still was able to, he'll still be able to. Why they've been saying that though? Like they've been saying this will be his first time seeing Punk main event WrestleMania. No, he did not. He main event WrestleMania when he faced Jericho. He was part of the main event. Why are y'all acting like that never happened? Stupid. Anyway, but I thought the most interesting part of the night of what I caught from it was the press conference tonight that took place after the Rumble. So they had Bayley talk. Like I told John earlier, I miss Bayley. They had Cody Rhodes go up there and talk. And shout out to the reporter. I cannot remember where he was from or what publication he's with, but he did ask Cody about, like something in relation to what was going on this week in terms of like the allegations and whatnot in the lawsuit. Cody gave a pretty safe answer in terms of like, this is like the best era that we're living in right now with pro wrestling, and we're all gonna do what's possible to be able to keep things afloat or whatever it was. He said it was very PR, very safe, very this media friendly kind of stuff. But my thing was like more so shout out to that media guy who actually asked that question, because I really thought that they were going to be banned from asking those questions tonight. But I'm glad that they did not, because these are the questions that we want to know about. They had Triple H come up there after Cody Rhodes, and Triple H just did his usual shit in terms of going up there and patting themselves on the back in terms of like the amount of revenue success we had from advertisers and the amount of ticket sales we had tonight. And and I think there's like this. I guess maybe there is like some protocol when it comes to that, when it comes to reporting numbers. But then you were using that as like your way of being able to kind of like deflect from the questions about what was really going on. And it was about, let's focus on the good things. Let's talk about how much money we made this week. Like, what? because Triple H did get asked a couple of times by people about like, about the things in terms of like, what are you in the WWE going to do to make sure that this is a safe work environment now? And his response was, I just want to talk about the positive stuff. Let's talk about how much money we made tonight. What? Like, I'm sorry, no one gives a shit about the type of like revenue records that you guys are broken because you partnered with Slim Jim, or you partnered with Cricket Wireless, or you partnered with Snickers or Popeye's Chicken or whatever like that. Like, no one wants to talk about. Like seriously, no one gives a shit. I'm just gonna be real. No one gives a shit. We don't. All right. A lot of us wrestling fans, we're all some broke motherfuckers, man. You know what I mean? You over here talking about like we made like $20 million in 5 minutes or whatever like that on the drop of a hat. Like look, we all trying to pay our light bills. You know what I mean? We don't give a fuck. But wait a second. There's actual information that's out there and a lawsuit and text messages as well to support this stuff, where it talks about how this man, John Laurinaitis, and the WWE were all took part in some way, in some case, connected with or responsible for this woman being sex trafficked. Don't give a shit about your ticket sales. Don't give a shit about your pay-per-view buys. Don't give a shit about the revenue you made from advertisers. Don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Are we going to talk about now? Granted, I understand we can't go into so much detail about what's going on with the lawsuit, because I know that there are factors in terms of when things are being litigated. But at the same time, though, you could just at least just say the basis that we're going to do everything we can possibly do so this way we make sure this never happens again, or we can make sure our employees feel safe, our wrestlers feel safe, our wrestlers feel heard, our wrestlers feel seen, our wrestlers actually feeling like that they matter. Like, yeah, that's all we want. Because like I said earlier tonight, I'm in a position right now where I'm like, I don't know if I want to support these motherfuckers no more. Because that shit I read in that lawsuit was ungodly bad. That was some wild shit. And I'm like, and y'all know I'm a hardcore WWE fan. But seeing that though really does make you put things into perspective, and you have a different lens all of a sudden. So yeah, man. So but in Triple H was just like very much handling this with kid gloves. So, and like I said, I'm not expecting for him to go up there and have a deposition or anything like that. I'm not expecting that at all. But there should be some type of some assurance of like, we're doing everything we can do possible to make sure that people are okay. That's the bare minimum, bro. So yeah, man. And also it just, I don't know, he just seemed like he seemed a little off too. Something just didn't seem right. But overall, though, the pay-per-view was okay. Women's Rumble was really good. Really good, really good, really good. The two title matches. Men's Rumble. It's all right. But that's what I'm saying. It was an okay pay-per-view. And yeah, I just know that had I paid like $800 for those ringside seats, I've been pretty pissed. That's all I can say. I've been pretty pissed. But yeah, so the pay-per-view was what it was. It was okay. But we're right now, we're currently on the road to WrestleMania. Hold on, what's that? I'm dropping the MCM podcast episode 98, dropping soon. Jamal Baker. Jamal, what is happening, boss? Y'all, this man right here, he is the host of the Mid-Card Madness podcast. I listen to him on SoundCloud, and he's on a variety of different platforms. But check out his podcast on SoundCloud. Follow that man, the Mid-Card Madness podcast. Jamal, he's like a guru when it comes to like a lot of the wrestling that happens outside of the United States, like in Japan and Mexico and whatnot, and other indie promotions like ROH and everything. Well, ROH, I don't know if they're not indie anymore, but you know what I'm talking about, like the ones that are not named WWE. He knows a lot of what's going on regionally with pro wrestling, so he's someone you definitely want to make sure that you have on your rotation. You know what I mean? Cody and Bailey, yeah, they were at the presser. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it was an okay show, and it's not. I don't know if it's gonna be one I'm gonna like go back and you know, check out again. Like, you know, there are those pay-per-views that you always relive. Like I'm literally right now watching the 2002 Royal Rumble. I have that on right now. Shout out to Dan Sager and the Clint Eye. So I don't think I'm going to revisit it. Maybe to check something out from the women's Rumble portion because it was that damn good. Maybe rewatch Jay come out, but probably not the rest though, because there wasn't too many things that were notable in there. I'm still trying to even think about the men's. Omos came back. It was cool seeing him. There was a little bit too with Grayson Waller where he was talking crap to the Usos. So yeah. But the Usos were good too. But anyway, no, we're talking Rumble results and Vince McMahon stuff in this episode. So yeah, so pretty much, so you got from me tonight in terms of like the Rumble and also the things going on with Vince McMahon. Subscribe to the Mid-Card Mess podcast and get a much more in-depth look in terms of and also just a different perspective of the Rumble and of this whole Vince McMahon bull doo-doo as well too. So support that man. A shout out to you, brother. But I'm glad that you all were able to watch this episode tonight. Yeah, I think the gummy kicked in, so I am going to go to sleep in a little bit. Because I'm over here like, ooh, okay, it's time to close shop now. But you guys are great though. Always enjoy talking to you guys. Thank you for staying up with me tonight, late night on the 23rd hour, and checking this out, or even while you're watching this, while you're having your coffee in the morning, tomorrow morning. I'm just really glad you guys got a chance to check this out. Check out if you want to see what we're talking about. Go on to subscribe to. It's not an ad for Peacock, but that's where they're at. And go to the WWE Network on that app and subscribe and go to the Royal Rumble 2024 so you can see exactly what we're talking about and give your opinion as well too. I see we got one more before we close out. John, it was a pleasure, brother. Appreciate you being on the show, my man. Having you on, my man. Appreciate you, bro. Peace to you, bro. And y'all, wish peace, love, all the good stuff in between. Stay clean. Good night, guys.